Welcome to Stronger Voices, the podcast for women stepping into their stronger era. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, menopause, or simply the next powerful chapter of your life, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Ashley Basilio, certified menopause health coach, fitness professional, and lifelong learner. Here, we replace confusion with clarity, isolation with community, and overwhelm with simple, sustainable steps forward. In each episode, we talk honestly about the changes happening in our bodies and lives, explore strategies to help you feel energized and confident, and hear from experts and real women walking this journey beside you. Because this isn't the end of anything, it's the beginning of becoming stronger. Let's dive in. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Stronger Voices. Today's guest is Jodi Silverman, founder and chief DARE officer of Dare On with Jodi, host of the Dare On with Jodi podcast, and Midlife women's biggest cheerleader. A natural optimist with contagious energy, Jodi empowers women to dare more, doubt less, and live fully. Through her high energy talks, coaching programs, and supportive community, she helps women overcome fear, rediscover purpose, and embrace the next chapter of their lives with confidence, joy, and resilience. And on a personal note, Jodi was actually the first person to invite me to be a guest on her podcast. And that experience gave me the spark and the courage to launch Stronger Voices. So this is a really special full circle moment for me, and I couldn't be more excited to have her here. Jodi, welcome to the show.
I am so excited to be here too. And I'm so excited you have your own show.
Thank you.
Your voice out there, Ashley. We need your voice.
Thank you so much. I learned so much from you and I just treasure you. So this is a moment I'm so proud that you're here. And for our listeners, so Jodi and I first connected through a mutual friend, and she came to do a masterclass for my Stronger Together community. And Jodi, you brought such an energizing message to the women. For those just meeting you, can you share a little bit about your story and how this happiness work became part of your mission?
Yes, thank you. And I'm grateful for you too. So I wasn't always a happiness and mindset coach. In a previous lifetime, I sold direct mail marketing, advertising, and print services. And it was when I realized my children were getting ready to leave the nest, that I had that moment. I was in a quiet space and I had that moment of wondering, okay, so my kids are going to leave. I'm going to have all this empty space. Do I really want to be selling printing? Is like this what I want to be doing? And I'm like, no. And I know a lot of women listening are nodding their heads because so many women tell me over the years, they have that moment where like, there's got to be something else I was meant to be doing. I don't want to be doing this. And that just, honestly, Ashley, that question and just allowing the answer to be no allowed me, I believe, to be open to see and be open to an opportunity that was presented to me in the network marketing business space. And if anybody here has ever been in the direct sales network marketing arena, you know that it's grounded in personal growth and development. So I didn't realize it, but more than the business, I was a sponge for the personal growth and development. I was being introduced to the good authors, those thought leaders like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and Napoleon Hill and Brene Brown, all of them. And it was during my time in this business, going on this personal growth journey, that I began to realize that I had an innate ability to see the bright side of things. And even in dark times, even in sad times, even in stressful, challenging times, when I reflected back, I really always had a way of still feeling joy and happiness inside of me. And I started to wonder about that. Like, was there something wrong with me? Like, I thought, well, maybe I'm not empathetic enough. Because I used to be like, I don't understand why this person can't just get over it, move on. Mm-hmm. And I came to realize it's not as easy for everybody to just get over things and move on. But it was for me. So I was really curious about it. And I was introduced to books because I went looking for them, like Learned Optimism, that you can actually learn to be more optimistic. And then I had a conversation with a woman and I was telling her this exact story. And she said, you need to get the book, Happy for No Reason.
The book is called Happy for No Reason. Okay.
by
Yeah. And
Marcy
that's the
Shimoff.
title of our podcast. So what does happy for no reason mean?
Right. So happy for no. As soon as she said, it, I'm like, oh, that's me. So happy for no reason is a book, and all the research that all the tips I'm sharing today come from becoming a happy for no reason certified trainer by Marcy Shimoff. So she defines
Okay.
the state of being happy for no reason as an inner state of peace and well-being, not dependent upon your circumstances. So
Okay.
it really is that resilience inside of you. It's inside, even though your circumstances could be hard, financial hardship, you have a loss, you still have this sense inside of you of peace and well-being. So it's an inner sense of peace and well-being that doesn't depend on your circumstances. That's the definition by Marcy.
Okay. And that sounds a lot different from what most women think happiness is,
Well, yes,
right?
because we look for happiness outside of
Right. Or we
us.
look for others to make us happy, or things to make us happy, or events
Yeah,
to happen in our life to make us. I'll be happy when I
right.
lose this weight. I'll be happy when I get this promotion. I'll be
Yeah,
happy when my child gets through this crisis. Right.
exactly.
So this is really internalizing that. So that's really interesting. What surprised you most as you started doing this happiness work and you got this certification, I'm assuming?
Yes. I guess what surprised me most was it wasn't a surprise. What happened to me was the realization, like, oh, I started to understand myself better. I
Okay.
started to understand that I have a propensity towards a higher, what she calls a happiness set point. What
Okay.
surprised me most was that come to the realization that not everybody had this innate ability, and yet it could all be learned.
Okay. Right. Right. So if someone's listening right now and they're thinking, well, that just doesn't make sense to me, or I don't feel that, it's not resonating. What
Yeah.
the key is that you can learn it. You can
Yeah.
do it if you're open to it. It's
Yes.
not just a feeling that comes over you. And I in my
No.
field, I sort of equate that to when people are looking for inspiration, right? So instead of
Yeah.
happiness, we talk about inspiration. I'm just not inspired to eat healthier. I'm not inspired to work out. And that's when I say, well, forget inspiration because it might be here, it might not be here, right? What you
Right.
need is determination. And so what you're saying is you can learn this concept and you can apply this concept if you're open to it. I love
Yes.
that.
There are practices, Marcy calls them happiness habits. There are
Okay.
practices, and they call it resilience, whatever it is, but there are practices that are not new to anybody, and we'll talk about a couple of them. But when you practice these strategies, you can raise something called your happiness set point. Marcy found in her research that we all have something called a happiness set point.
Okay.
Think about a thermometer.
All
It's like
right.
our temperature goes up, but when we get rid of the fever, it comes right back down to that whatever your baseline is. Mine could be
Right.
98.6, it could be 97.5. So a happiness set point came from her research, and it's from positive psychology. I also want to take a break here and just say this is not about being a Pollyanna and pretending that everything's okay.
Okay.
This is
All
not
right.
what
That's good.
happy for no reason is not this toxic positivity where you just pretend everything's okay. I
Right.
cry, I scream, I get angry. The difference is when you put some basic strategies into practice or practices into practice, you can bounce back a little quicker than before. You can raise your happiness level a little bit quicker. You won't get stuck in that muck
Okay.
in your circumstances as you won't get stuck as long in those circumstances. And I just want to be clear on that because I don't want people to think like this is not like I don't ever get sad or upset. Of course I do. We're human.
Right. Right. This is about being human.
Right. And this is about learning. It's a resilience. It's a building your resilience around feeling more joy because you can feel joy and sadness in the same space. So the happiness set point, which came out of positive psychology and Marcy's research, is a genetic and learned tendency to remain at a certain level of happiness. Now,
Okay.
and the great news is The great news is we all have the ability to raise our happiness set point. It's made up of three parts, Ashley.
Okay.
And there is a chart that if you could see it, uh, imagine a pie chart and it's broken into three parts, but they're not three equal parts. One part, 10% is your circumstances, the things in life that happen to you. You get a financial hardship, somebody passes away, you lose your job. That's your circumstance. You really have no control over those things, they happen. 40% are the habits that we have,
That's a big chunk.
drinking soda, drinking alcohol, eating a tasty cake, cupcake every day. Habits can be changed, right?
Right.
And 50% are genetics. So when
Oh,
that person you say, she's always happy, but she was born that way, or her parents are happy, so she is,
okay.
that's 50% genetics. Here's all the good news. All the good news. You can change your habits, and you can even to somewhat affect change in your circumstances.
Okay.
The 50% that genetics, where we never thought we could change that because that's just the way we're born with. There's science. I'm not a science guru. You probably know this better than me. There's a science and research called epigenetics where they are seeing proof that we can change our genetics, our neural pathways in our brains and
Our
how we're wired.
tendencies, you mean?
Yeah, our tendencies, yes. So
Okay. All right.
really, if you take the 40% and the 50%, we can positively impact 90% of our happiness set point by just adopting some habits and
Okay.
practicing certain strategies.
So could you give
And
us a couple of examples of how we might shift the pie pieces in
I
that
can.
chart or to
I
shift our
can.
happiness set point? What's an example?
Yeah, so something everybody knows, gratitude.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. There is so much research out there on how adopting some practice of gratitude in your life, and I'll give you an example of one that I love. Practice of gratitude, whether it's journaling three things every morning and every night before you go to bed that you're grateful for. I'm grateful that the sun set today and I had another good day. I'm grateful that I can get up and walk out of my bedroom. I'm grateful for my dog that sits there looking so cute. Whatever your gratitude is. My favorite gratitude practice is intentionally looking for the good
Look for the
every day.
good.
I do this all the time. It's become habit for me that I don't even know I'm doing it and I do it. And what I mean by that is all day long, there is good all around you. It could be a cool looking cloud in the sky. It could be a rainbow. It could be right before spring, you see the first little peak of the green buds coming up from the ground.
Mhm.
Grass. It could be a cute baby in a stroller who's just sitting there cooing. It could be a cute little dog. It could be anything. But if you can make it a practice that every single day throughout your day, look for the good. Look all around you. That's a gratitude practice. It changes the neural pathways of your brain. We are wired to lean towards the negative,
Yeah.
and we hold on to the negative longer than the positive. The practice, gratitude practices, however you want to do it, but looking for the good and taking it in and savoring it. Like, look at that little baby for 20 seconds. Look at that sunrise for 20 seconds. When you can find the good and savor it, you are carving out new neural pathways in your brains so that you can flip that switch. And now you can hold on to more of the positive experiences more than the negative. So when a negative experience happens, a circumstance happens, yes, you can feel all the emotions around that, but you can go through it quicker. And you can even say to yourself, okay, this really stinks. And you can have
Mhm.
your pity party. And then you can say, okay, but what could possibly be a good that can come from this? And
Yeah, and I
that's
imagine that takes a lot of practice
a
too,
lot of practice.
and that you have to do it when you don't feel like doing it,
Right. So I
right?
would say
Yeah.
instead of starting with finding the good in that mess, in that circumstance, start with
Yeah.
just finding random good things throughout your day.
Finding random good things outside of that mess. Yeah,
Yeah.
to be grateful for. Yeah,
It's
I think we can all do that.
yeah.
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 What now? There's another concept that you have talked about in about this book called contraction and expansion.
Yes.
What's that all about?
So there's two. That's all about two energies in the world. There's two energies:
Okay,
there's contraction and expansion. Contraction is what is stress. It's what keeps you like tight, closes your
tight.
heart. It almost
Okay,
the heart. If you listen to anybody, the heart has a magnetic electromagnetic field to it. So everything is energy. Every emotion has energy. Every thought has energy. Every action has energy.
right.
Contraction is a closed energy. You get
Okay,
contracted in your heart, in your head, in your body when you have fear or disease or stress or anxious or just feeling sad. Expansion. I mean, even when you say the word contraction, it's like, ah, but you say expansion and you like open up. It's like an expansion of your heart and your mind
an
and your body.
openness.
And you can move from contraction to expansion. Contraction might be you're having unhappiness. You want to move closer to feelings of joy and happiness for expansion. Fear versus love. Pessimism versus optimism. So the goal with any practice of gratitude or any practice to change a habit is to help you move from a state of contraction a little bit quicker into expansion each time.
Okay, and that will help raise your set point.
That helps raise your happiness set point. So
Right,
when you get knocked down by life circumstances, you get knocked down, but you don't stay down. So maybe the last time
right,
you experienced a huge setback somewhere at work, you were like a week, you couldn't function. You
right.
were mean, you were negative, you're like, oh my boss. Rah, 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 rah. But the next time it happens, it's 2 days. 2 days, and then all of a sudden you're out of it. That's a big difference.
That's a big, yeah,
Because
and I
if
mean, I
you
go back
stay,
to that word that you used, resilience,
yeah,
right? It's about being, able to be human, to experience the lows, but when you come up maybe a little quicker, a little bit more sprightly, a little bit to maybe a higher point, right? When you've been
yes.
practicing these things. So,
Because the more
let's
you
get into some practical ways like you've said that women don't even realize what's robbing them of their happiness sometimes. So, from your perspective and the clients that you've coached and women you've talked to, what's the biggest thief of joy in midlife?
well, there's a couple, but because we're also here talking about,
Yep.
stronger together, stronger voices, and we're all about health and wellness here, stress. Stress.
Stress.
And I was going to say, stress is a contracted energy. The longer you stay in contraction, the more harm you're doing to your overall health and wellness, both your mental, emotional, and your physical health and wellness. We all know, and I know you share this with your community. Stress is one of the biggest robbers of happiness. Now, we're living a human experience. There's going to be stress.
Right.
Again, this is all about everything I teach about resilience and happiness and daring more and doubting less and living fully. Everything I do is to help that one listener just stay in stress a little less than she did the day before. Because stress, we all know what stress does to you. Stress will rob you of your happiness, it will keep you in contraction. And stress releases a very bad hormone in our body called cortisol,
Yeah.
and it breaks down your immune system. I mean, it does
Yeah.
all this. I mean,
It does
I
all kinds of bad things.
all kinds of bad things. I mean, it says when we go into the stress response, okay, our brain activity changes and our heart rhythms change. Think about it. When you're stressed, you're a little bit, you're not breathing as much, you're not getting as much breath in, you're breathing quicker, maybe more erratic heart rhythm. And all of that weakens our immune system.
Right. And I think and I was just discussing this with another friend is that there are so many things colliding on us in midlife
Yeah.
with children getting older and more independent. It's has its pluses, but there's a loss there, right?
Yeah.
And when there's a loss, there's grief. There's parents getting older, there's careers coming to a crossroads, there's menopause, perimenopause, right? And so um what would you say to a woman out there who's listening to us now that said, "Yeah, that really sounds nice, but I really have a hard time prioritizing joy right now with all of this going on."
I would
Well,
say I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of loss. I had 3 years of my life, 3 years in a row, where we lost 3 of my husband's my family, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law. Talk about
Oh
stress,
my
3 years in a row.
gosh.
Um,
I'm so
and
sorry to
yes,
hear
my
that.
parents are aging. I'm gonna be 60, and my parents are mid-80s, and what I would say to her is, "Yes, I understand that, and the first step in really allowing yourself to start to decrease stress and bring more joy is to accept the things which you cannot change. So
Okay.
your kids are going to leave home.
Mhm.
That's what they're supposed to do. Okay. It is a choice. It is a choice to sit there and say, I don't want them to leave. I don't want them to leave. What am I going to do? Or my parents are older. I don't know what to do. And it's overwhelming. I'm saying, yes, I validate it. And the first step is to move into acceptance. Okay, this is happening. My parents are not doing well, and I don't want to take care of my parents. I want to do my podcast. I don't want to take care of my parents. Okay. The reality is maybe your parents aren't doing well. Maybe you have a child that's not doing well. Okay.
Right.
Accept it, state it, and then figure out who can support you and who can help you. Is
Okay.
there somebody you can talk to? I'm a big proponent that everybody should have a therapist on call.
Oh, I agree with that.
Everybody should have a therapist on call. I haven't spoken to mine in like 6 months, but I still have her phone number if I need
Yeah.
her. And it could be your best friend, it could be a local community center. There are so many resources out there. So the first key part is accepting. Because if you fight it, if you're saying, I don't want this to happen, I'm angry, you can't stop it from happening.
Right.
You can only choose how you are going to show up. And it's acceptance, it's looking at who can help me, it's having set boundaries for yourself so that you can put some of your needs top,
Mhm.
like working out, that's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. Nothing is going to get in the way of my daily workout because that is so important.
Right.
Because the daily workout reduces stress, reduces cortisol, and releases the good endorphins in your body. So that's the health and wellness. And you're no good to anybody sick yourself.
Yeah. No, that is very well said, and I like how it really shifts the framework from a victim to more of an empowering. Once you say that I'm stuck in this situation, truth. Okay, we understand that, but once you shift your language to accept, I acknowledge, then you move from the victim to someone empowered to make a
Yes.
decision about that knowledge, right?
And that's
And
that.
that is such a good feeling.
And you just said it right there. Yeah, stress is one of the number one robbers, but another number one robber is being a victim of your life, being a victim in
Mhm.
your circumstances. And you just said something interesting because I just interviewed somebody for my podcast and we talked about the word stuck.
Okay.
You can feel stuck, but I would dare you to say, am I really stuck? Is there something I can do? Is there someone I can talk to? Is there something we can do? Because you can feel stuck. It's a real feeling.
Mhm.
Don't want anybody listening to this to think I'm saying your feelings, your emotions are 100% valid. I
Right.
have felt stuck. I have felt lost. I have felt sad and frustrated. And then I think how I don't want to stay. If you have to make the decision. Do you want to stay stuck and a victim in your circumstances or do you want to get out? Do you want to feel better? You do have a choice. We are the only living thing. Human beings are the only people. I don't even know if I'm saying like animals don't have a choice.
Right. Yeah.
Birds fly south for the winter. They don't get to choose. We have a choice in every decision we make. And it is a choice. Choosing to be happy is a choice. And I had my son say to me, Mom, you say, choose happy. I hear you say, choose happy. You can't just wake up and say, I'm happy today. I said, no, 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 no. Let me explain when I say you can choose. You make a choice right now. To that one woman who's saying, I want to be happy. I do want to choose happy, Jodi. You just made a decision.
Right.
Now you figure out the things you can do, the action steps you can take, the books you can read, the people you can talk to, the news that you're going to turn off that can support you on
Right.
feeling happier.
Well, I like how you just said about news you can turn off because isn't that the truth too?
Turn it off.
Yeah, if I mean if it doesn't align with how you want to feel or your values, um
Yeah.
shift that out of your life and shift something else into your life to support you and keep you feeling that way. Do
Yeah.
you ever encounter women now who's like, okay, I'm going to make the choice. I want to be happy, but then they feel all guilty about being happy, you know? Like, how do you
I
help
think I can
shift
say
that guilt feeling that we feel so much in midlife?
I think I can say yes because I think I remember feeling like, is there something wrong with me? Those 3 years, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, they were very sick, each one of them, and I was a big part of their life. I was a big part of taking care of them with the other family members, and I was at that time. I'll never forget. My mother-in-law was very ill. My father-in-law had already passed, and I had just started in creating my Moms Who Dare Facebook group, and just started building this business that I had no idea what it was going to be. And I was going to a training, and I said to my husband, "How could I go to a training for 3 days?" And he's like, "You
Right.
have to. She would want you to go." My mother said, "I want you to go." She knew I was going on this trip. She goes, "Go. Everybody else is here." I had to release the fact that I had other family members there with me.
Mhm.
And because I did have that moment, I understand the guilt. Like, how can I go to this happy training that I'm going to become a life coach while my mother in law is laying in bed not doing well? And part of it is that, she gave me permission. But the other part of it is my mother said something to me and my sister in law, who has passed, but they both said it to me the year I was getting married. The year I was getting married, I got married in July, and I want to say somewhere in like the spring is when we found out that my sister in law's cancer had come back. She was in my wedding. I love my sister in law, and it wasn't good. And my mom said to me, first, my mom said, then Debbie, my sister in law, love her, she said this, she called me up and I went over to her house and she said this to me too. My mom said, Jodi, it is sad, it is hard, and we'll all be there for Debbie. And you're allowed to be happy and excited to plan your wedding. My
Oh,
mom told me
yeah.
that. My mom gave me
Wow.
permission that I could be happy about my wedding, even with my sister-in-law's diagnosis.
Mm.
And my sister-in-law said to me, "You are marrying my baby brother. I love you. I love him. And if I have to sit in a chair, I'm going to be there with you under the chuppah of your wedding, and you're going to have fun planning your wedding, and this is not going to affect it."
Wow.
But they gave me the permission. And I
Wow.
think it's okay. I say you have to give yourself the permission. If somebody's not there to give it to you, and if
You're
somebody's going to
right. You
judge
might not
you,
have yeah.
and you might have somebody who says, "How can you do this?" Say, no. If you know you're a good sister, a good worker, a good employee, if you know this to be true, nobody gets to put their stuff on you. And you can say, I'm allowed to go have a fun day, even with this happening over here, because it will recharge you. It will re
Mhm.
energize you. See, that's where we don't look at it. We look at it as we're being selfish.
Right,
And
right.
I have another friend, you know her, Megan Weisheipel. She says
Yeah.
selfish is a good thing. If
Yeah.
if you don't treat yourself to joy, if you don't treat yourself to moments of happiness and things that bring you joy, you're going to be depleted, and you're going to show up that way for the people who need you most. So it's not selfish, it's a necessary thing. It's just
Yeah.
society has trained us in a different way, and we just have to retrain our brains to think it and choose it for ourselves.
I'm so first of all, I'm so sorry about the loss in your family. That's
Yeah,
very traumatic.
yeah, it was a
And
lot.
it's sequential like that. But I'm so grateful that you shared that story because I think it really grounds the message today.
Yeah,
That just like you talked about in the beginning, is we're not talking about toxic happiness where you fake it till you make it
no.
or you pretend everything's great. You shared some really personal stories here and how you worked through them and some I mean your family was wonderful too on the way, the things your mom
They
and sister-in-law
they
said to
were.
you.
They were good. It was good to have.
Yeah.
If I might just say one thing, I would leave my mother-in-law's. condo, and I would pull into a parking lot at a park near me. It was night. I would roll down my window and just scream. And I think screaming and crying when you need to,
Yeah.
get it out, is what makes women strong because we let our emotions out. And again, going back to the beginning, the whole thread throughout this whole conversation, as long as you don't get stuck in that. And I think people are scared to let out their emotions because they're scared that it will consume them. Let it out and then say, okay, what can I do to feed my soul? What can I do to show up in a good way? And that's how you do it.
Yeah. I feel much, much better after a good scream or cry.
Absolutely. I think that's what differentiates the women from the men. I do. I mean, we are not afraid to just, and people say women are emotional. Be emotional.
Yeah.
It's what makes us strong.
Right.
As long as
And
you use the emotion, let it out and then be on with it.
that's right. And, I do obviously a lot of work with my clients in perimenopause and menopause, and even hormonally with the fluctuations in decline in estrogen, it makes it so much easier to lean into that,
Yeah.
that rage when you feel it,
Well,
like
there you go.
feeling
You
those
just found the
emotions.
bright side of menopause. Menopause allows us to feel our emotions. Lean into it.
Yes, there's lots of upsides. I
Yeah.
want to ask you, you've recently rebranded to
Yeah.
Dare On with Jodi. When I was on your podcast, if anyone's looking for it, it was called Beyond Empty Nest. So I know you like to throw dares out there. So
Do.
what is one simple dare or shift a listener can try this week to start feeling more connected to joy again?
I dare you to look for the good. I dare you to
Right?
make it a practice. I don't care what kind of day you're having. I want you every day for the next 3 days. You can do anything for 3 days. Just find one good thing and take it and savor it for 20 seconds. So don't just look at it, take out your phone and take a picture of a rainbow.
Okay.
If you see a sunset, put your phones away. If you see a baby, if you see, something, that makes you smile, a flower, whatever it might be, I want you every day to intentionally find something that you look at and think, huh, I like that. That makes me feel good. That brings a smile on my face. Find the good and practice it. Practice
And
it.
practice it.
You would be amazed at the transformation you feel inside of you. It doesn't take away sadness, but boy, it makes you feel stronger in the sadness.
That's beautiful, simple. In fact, right now, wherever you're listening from, you can do this. If you're driving in your car, look out your window.
Yeah.
If you're sitting waiting for someone to finish soccer practice, be grateful, gratitude again. You can
Yes,
find these things if you look for them. They're right there in front of you.
they are.
You don't need that fancy workout outfit, that car, that promotion, that you don't need that stuff to find the good here and about our lives. That's such a great message. And I know you have a quiz, right? Can you tell us about your happy and midlife quiz for our
Yes, and the
listeners?
Happy and Midlife's quiz is Marcy Shimoff's Happy for No Reason quiz.
Okay.
And it's a quiz. I think you have the link. Uh,
Yes, I'm
so
going to put the link in the show notes.
I need to give you a public service announcement. You're going to take this quiz, and regardless of what your happiness set point score is, there is no judgment. I don't
Oh,
care if it's low, I don't care if it's high. And here's what I'm going to say to you people who are like me, who had a very high score. That doesn't mean you don't need to practice happiness habits like gratitude, choosing joy, and taking care of yourself and working out and making those good choices. It can only strengthen it. And if you're low, it's okay. It will change sometimes where you are in your life. So don't judge yourself on it. Just take it. And then when you do grab the quiz, I think you get 3 additional emails from me. I believe it's 3. Each one will have a happiness habit for you a strategy to practice. One of them is look for the good, and it goes through the 3 steps of the savoring. And then there's 2 other ones, and I think you'll really like them. And one of them
okay.
is about focusing on the solution, and it takes you through step by step how you can focus on a solution instead of getting caught in the stuck, like we talked about. So yeah.
That sounds fun. I can't wait to take that again. I took it when you first shared it with me, and I can't wait to take it again.
Yeah. So don't judge
Excellent. Thank
yourself.
you.
Don't judge yourself. Just take it and look at it and then go through maybe a month or two of practicing looking for the good and then retake it again and you'll see your set point might go up.
That's great. I like that metric. I like data and metrics. So that's kind of cool.
I know you do. I know.
Jodi, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. This conversation was such a joy. And I know it's going to stick with so many women who are
I,
craving that higher happiness set point, more lightness, resilience, and joy
yeah.
in their day-to-day lives. And personally, Jodi, I want to say thank you again, because like I said in the beginning, if you missed it, Jodi was the first person to invite me to be on a podcast.
You were
And
great.
I was so nervous. We did a 2-part podcast,
You
and it
did.
was a 2-part podcast about menopause. The first part was what's happening, and the second
Yeah.
part was how to feel better.
Yeah.
And it was such a wonderful experience that you opened me up to, and I'm so grateful for you. And it gave me the push I needed to launch Stronger Voices, which is where we are today. So having you on a guest is just, it's dynamite. So for those of you listening, make sure you check out the show notes. I'm going to put Jodi's links into her website, her podcast, and her Happy and Midlife quiz. She's an incredible source of energy, wisdom, joy. You're going to want to follow her on social media and just follow her around, because when I follow her around, I find myself more happy. I know you'll love learning from her as much as I do. Jodi, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much for listening to Stronger Voices. If today's episode supported you, inspired you, or made you feel seen, I would love for you to subscribe and leave a quick review. It helps more women in their stronger era find this show, and it truly means the world to me. If you're craving more support, accountability, and connection, come join our vibrant community at getfitwithathley.com/stronger. Inside Stronger Together, you'll find daily encouragement, expert coaching, education, challenges, and a sisterhood of women committed to growing stronger in every way. Use code VOICES for $25 off your membership. And don't forget to let me know where you're listening from. I love adding new pins to my world map of stronger listeners. And just a quick reminder, Stronger Voices is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider about your personal health needs. Until next time, remember, you're not in a pause. You're in your power.